Welcome back, everyone. This is going to be our 3 days left before launch of Crystal of Atlan. And for today's video, we are going to talk about things that you will be doing daily in the game. And of course, weeklies and some other stuff that you can do after you've finished your main quest. This video is part of a 7-day series that I'm doing to give everyone information about Crystal of Atlan before the game even launches. I have a link down in the description below if you've missed any of the videos to check them out. And of course, subscribe to not miss any future videos. Alright, so let's go. Okay, so these things I'm going to talk about is going to be things that you should be doing after the main quest and side quest. So if you have finished all of that, this is the things that you are going to be doing, especially for the dailies, even from the first week, right after you finish your main quest and side quest. Well, some of these things will not be available yet, but at least you have an idea what you will be doing later on in the game after the main story quest. Alright, so if you have not finished the main story quest and side quests yet, you have to focus on doing that at least for your main character. Okay, so let's start. First thing is going to be Abyssal Purgatory. So this is going to be your main farming dungeon. So this dungeon will be your main source for legendary equipments. There is a pity system for the drops in this dungeon, but whenever you get a legendary equipment, it's not actually guaranteed that that equipment is going to be an equipment for the class that you are using. So this is one of the advantages of alt characters. If you have alt characters that can farm this one daily, you might RNG some legendary drops that are for your main account, so you can transfer that over to your main. But if your main account is dropping equipments that it's not going to use, you can actually dismantle it. So whenever you dismantle a legendary equipment, the game's going to provide you with a material that you can use to increase the chances of getting a legendary equipment or item that you actually want. So one dismantled legendary item is equal to 1% chance in getting the equipment that you want. I mean, it's not bad, but eventually you should be able to get everything that you actually need for your equipment set. So for the people that are asking me what are good endgame sets, basically the game is going to tell you this, because all the legendary equipment sets will have set effects that will tell you this is going to increase the skill power of this class, right? It's going to have descriptions like that. For example, Sight Guard will have increased damage on this skill, Sight Guard will have increased damage on this skill, more healing on this skill. It will tell you that. So it's not hard to actually find what equipment you should be using for your characters. This dungeon also drops shards, and shards are going to be used for crafting. So if you're missing 1 to 2 equipment left for your equipment set, then these shards are going to be the ones that you will be using to craft that missing equipment. You can trade shards with players in your guild daily, but of course there's a daily limit to this one. Also, for the drops, there's a 300 daily limit for shards as well. So 300 drop daily limit for shards. Okay, so once you are no longer looking for equipments, you can start farming for insignias. So insignias, basically, these are things that you can imprint into your equipment. So it's just going to be extra stats, extra bonus stats for equipment. And you can farm the good ones in Abyss level dungeons from the story quest. So the story quest dungeons, they will have a harder level difficulty. And those are Abyss modes. And you can just farm those from there. Or you can snipe some good insignias from the marketplace as well. So people can sell those for gold in the marketplace as well. Alright, next up is we have the Void Realm. So Void Realm is pretty important, especially early on once you unlock it at, I think, around level 40. Because this is going to provide you with Void accessories and Void equipment. Think of Void equipment as filler equipment for the legendary equipment that you don't have yet. For example, you're missing a legendary breastplate for your main character. You can use a Void breastplate for now, just so that you get enough stats. Because in this game, the endgame dungeons are going to require a stat called nullification, and the Void equipments actually provide a decent amount of nullification to their stats so that you will be able to enter these dungeons right here. Once you've crafted some of the accessories and some of the equipments here, some of these Void Realm stages will be obsolete to you, so you don't need to farm them anymore. Once you don't need the materials from them, just enter this one if you need any of the materials. except for Void's Nest, because Void's Nest has one of the better insignia drops in the game. But Void's Nest is a 3 times a week limited dungeon, and you can only receive rewards daily as well. So 1 time daily and then 3 times a week. So that's 3 days of the week that you will be spending time on Void's Nest. So Void's Nest is a limited dungeon that requires 4,500 nullification. This is one of the harder stages and you unlock it at level 60. So usually you'd want to have a party to go into this one. Even just, I think there's a duo. I think duo is good here. I don't remember if you can go with 4, but I think 2 is good enough. This is a dungeon where you can get some good legendary insignias and also some shards again. Can also get some crafting materials for relics later on in the game. So these are void equipments, again, void seals and void relics. Okay, so this is where you get them from. Alright, next up is Hex Chest. So Hex Chest is also a weekly limited dungeon. So this one is a pretty interesting one. I actually liked the mechanics of this one. So this is basically a dungeon where you farm legendary equipments again and crafting materials for more endgame gear. So these endgame gear is going to come in much later because again, this is a limited 3x limited per week and you're not gonna get a lot of materials from it weekly. So probably you'll be able to craft one of these legendary equipments by the first or second month of playing. So it's gonna take that long. But you can still get some good insignias in this one, really good stats from it. There's 3 levels for this dungeon. There's a solo difficulty, there's a 4-man difficulty, and there's an 8-party difficulty. So the 8-party one, I was not able to test it out, but 4 players is actually pretty fun. So there are some mechanics where you actually have to work with your party to actually defeat the bosses. Alright, some of the content here are things that you should just be doing whenever it's available to you. So next up is we have Tempered Trials. So Tempered Trials will be introduced to you early on already. This is where you will be clearing waves of enemies, and depending on how many waves you clear, you get rewards. This is a good place for you to get some of the free pets that provide support for the team, well, for yourself as well. Next up, Golden Fleece. So Golden Fleece is a daily thing, but the dungeon changes based on the day of the week. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday is going to be a dungeon that will drop you Abyssal Purgatory tickets. So these are currencies that you need to be able to farm Abyssal Purgatory, the one that I mentioned in the first part. The second one, Tuesdays and Thursdays, is going to give you some circuit enhancement materials or equipment enhancement materials. And then lastly, Saturday and Sunday, gold. Gold, baby! So this is one of the most consistent areas to farm gold. So I think you get 1 to 2 million gold here. So don't miss this one. Don't miss it on the weekends. Very, very important. Next up, Arena. So there's daily reward cap for Arena depending on what your rank is in 1v1 and 3v3. I don't remember rewards for 3v3 because I mostly focused on 1v1s during the testing. But yeah, depending on your rank, you can get more daily Arena coins. And the coins you can get can be spent on some resources as well, not just the Arena equipment. So yeah, make sure to do this one at least daily even if you're uninterested in PvP. Yeah, because I believe even if you lose, you still receive the daily coin rewards. So just do it. Even if you lose, you can even throw. So yeah. But if you're very interested in PvP, you can just keep grinding this one. Whenever you hit a higher rank, your limit will increase and you will be able to achieve, or you will be able to get more coins. Anyways, so if you increase your ranking in Arena, top 3 in Arena is actually going to receive titles. And these titles are actually pretty good when it comes to PvE. So really good stats that are given. But this is a 30-day limited title. So next season, you might not have it again or you might still keep it. So good luck. Another good source for gold and materials is going to be Duel of Bonds. So, well, Duel of Bonds, something that you do once per character only as well. This is where you get to duel the NPC characters that have been introduced to you during the story mode. So some of these ones are actually pretty crazy, especially the hard mode ones. Especially Yal, man. This guy's spellcasting hurts so much and it can be pretty annoying. if you can't actually dodge his abilities. So good luck on this one. Lastly, I'll talk about exploration. Exploration, again, something that you do only once for each of your characters. So after you completed your main story quest, the dungeons will actually be unlocked in the open world. Well, it's not open world. You will be able to access the previous dungeons and you'll be able to get chests. You'll be able to get cards and you'll be able to fight the bosses here again. So yeah, it's a pretty fun one. You can actually bring in 3 other players into your exploration maps. You can actually gather materials for crafting, materials for cooking as well in exploration. So it's pretty fun to do. I have a playlist for all exploration, for all the chests, cards, and for the bosses, photo spots as well. So check that out once the game has released. That's pretty much it for the dailies and the weeklies. Remember, these things I'm saying are coming from my experience from testing the game. So some of these things might change once the game releases, but it should provide a solid reference for what you will be doing once the game actually releases. So if you have any questions, clarifications, suggestions, let me know in the comments below. Don't be afraid to ask because I read all the comments and I try to answer each and every one of them. So thank you very much for watching and I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 6 or 2 days left before Crystal of Atlan releases. GG's.
But if I lay down and I play dead